Right, so today's job, or one of today's job, is going to be to fit a reversing camera. Now, I've fitted one of these before on the previous van, and looking around on the vans, rather than having it anywhere on obvious display stuck around, I'm going to actually put it underneath the plastic strip that goes along there, as close to the middle as possible, and then I'm going to drill through up onto the other side and run all the cabling along the door, get the power off the brake light, and run the AV all the way down to the mirror. The camera itself's one of the ones that connects to the rear view mirror that automatically turns on when you go into reverse. So what I'm going to do is unscrew the screws that are holding the plastic trim on. See, there's already a few holes there for the license plate, brake light, and the clips that retain the plastic trim already. Now, if I can't get any of the cabling through where the brake light, license plate light is there, I'm just going to drill another hole, because the cables for the camera, they all have to go through the hole, and that itself is quite a chunky thing, as well as the AV cables as well, so the hole has to be of quite a big size just to be able to get the cables through in the first place. So they're going to go in round about there, I'll say as close to the middle as possible, and then the cable is going to follow the same route that's going all the way along into the rubber. That's a bit of a pain to get cabling through that, or it was last time. Hopefully it's going to be a bit easier this time, but we shall see. So I'm going to crack on, get the cable into place, get the hole done, get the camera in, and then get it fitted. Right, well, that's the hole modified and the cabling all through for the camera. I haven't actually put it in its final position yet because I'm doing a colour change on the van anyway, so it's all going to be getting painted behind here, but it's going to be mounted just underneath the plastic cover. So as I say, it's going to be pretty much central and just pointing down just above the tow bar and across and out. And I say, I've done this before on the previous van, and it does give quite a good field of view. Covers the left hand side fine, and you can always check the right hand side yourself anyway with the mirror, but it still gives good coverage left and right both sides. So as I say, all I've done there to get it through is modify one of the holes that's used for the actual plastic bracket. So I've just widened out the hole just a little bit, just so the thickness of the cables could squeeze through, and then when the plastic bracket's screwed back in place, that'll just expand that out, so that'll be fine. So now with this cabling, I'm going to have to run a power line going from the reverse light. I'm going to have to feed the wire up and through into that grommet, feed it through the actual grommet going into there. That's going to be the most awkward bit, just getting into that grommet. And then feed it down and into there. It's just the power line that they generally give you with the camera. It's just not long enough to get all the way through and through all of the door bits bobs. I'm also going to have to run the AV cable as well. That's the really long one that goes all the way down to the front to the camera. So again, that's going to also have to get fed through the grommet and down and plugged in. So I'm going to get the cabling run and get it all connected up. Right, well, after lots of struggling, I had to take it all back out, redo it with some stronger tape, but that's the cables through the rubber grommet going from the door to the wall panel. So I'm just going to pull the rest of that through, but I'm just running out of battery, so I just thought I'd show that. That's how it's pushed through, all the way through with the just with the pushing rod. It took a while to do, but it's finally there. Right, so that's all of the cabling ran and wired in for the camera at the back. The camera, as I say, comes out there, Goes along, I've got the cables there. The power line was just long enough for the camera to go through and through the actual rubber and just to poke out the other side. I've then put a connector on and run the power lead down, and it's running off the blue and black cable. That's the reverse light, so that only provides power when reverse is selected, otherwise it's just completely dead. So I've ran a power line for the camera, but I've also ran a power line for the actual mirror as well, because that needs a power line going to it just to power the display when the camera's kicking in. So again, because I'm going to be running the power line off that, that's only going to be enabling power to the mirror when reverse is selected. So I've run the cabling back up inside the panel and along, so that there is the power, and that one is the AV line. So they're running alongside. I'm going to have a few more cables run behind here as well for the lighting. Well, most of it's already in place, but there's still going to be like a USB auxiliary one there. So that's going to be running along. It's going to tuck underneath the overhead storage locker and then under the headlining, and it's going to run down to a replacement rear view mirror. So as I say, I've got the cabling ran down to here. I've just got to run it under the headlining now. That's going to be today's job. Take the headlining off and get the cabling out and down for the mirror and get it wired up and see how it looks. I've just managed to run all of the cabling down in between the overhead locker. I've taken the strip that just covers the overhead cab off so I can get in between. So now I can get all the way down to the light at the front and beyond, and then I'm just going to run the cables up from the mirror straight up into the headlining and back and join up with these cables. So that's those. So just in there, I just need to run them in and run a ground up and get connected. Right, so that's the cabling for the rear view camera and mirror, all connected up. That's the one cable just running down from the headline. The camera, the mirror's not in its final place yet. I need to get a smaller mirror just for that clip over. But all the cabling's done, all the wiring's done, the system's checked, tested, and it does work as well. So now when I put it into reverse and turn the ignition on, it's quite hard to see in the mirror, but you will see the guide lines up here in the middle. You can see that just flipped in there. If I just take the mirror off, you might be able to see it a bit better. You can see the screen in the middle there with the guidelines, the red, yellow and green, and that's going right next to the middle of the doors, so you can always see pretty close to where you are and what you're about to hit or not hit. So for 25 quid and an hour's worth of time, you've got yourself a reverse and review camera with quite a nice reversing mirror, so people don't really know what's going on. So yeah, not bad a job. I'll try and get a bit of a better camera angle in a second, and yep, there you go, that's how you fit it.